A very good day to all of you out there. This is Admav here with another episode of Admav's Corner. Hi everybody, welcome back. It's Admav. I hope you're all doing well. Happy New Year, happy 2023. It has been a few months since the last podcast that I recorded. I believe the last episode I may have put out there was on the first week of December. So it's been a while. How are you all doing? As I said just now, I hope you're all doing well. And if not, I hope you're all hanging in there. We're in a brand new year. We are more than halfway through the second month. It's taken me a while, obviously, to get back, but I didn't want to return until something called me, or the timing and the feeling felt right. And I decided that this week it felt right, based on some of the things that I've experienced in the last few months and what I've been going through. And just to let you all know, it hasn't been all rosy. It hasn't been a cakewalk. I think most of you will not find that as a surprise. Life is tough, and as I've said in previous episodes, there's an ebb and flow, and the currents have been rough right now, but I'm still managing to stay afloat. I'm still hanging in there, and I'm still finding some time to really enjoy what life has to offer. But yeah, things have felt heavy as of late. Part of the reason is the weather has fluctuated a lot from extreme winter to the beginning of spring. At least that's what it feels like, which is kind of nice when it's February and it's like 13 degrees, 14 degrees Celsius outside. But at the same time, obviously, at least in the back of my mind, I'm just thinking about the damage that we've done to this planet, global warming and whatnot, to see weather that's this volatile. It feels like it doesn't even feel like February right now. It feels like early spring. It feels like late March or something. It's kind of wild. But the thing is, the damage has been done, and all we can really do is to be a bit more mindful and conscious about the things that we do, the things that we consume, how we consume things. That's really, especially for just an individual like me, the best we could do is to pitch in however little it is. It does help. So I try to be mindful about that. I'm not perfect, trust me. I'm sure, or I know for sure that there are times that I could be less wasteful about things, but I try to be more environmentally friendly. And yeah, the fluctuating weather and generally gray skies, especially the whole month of January, it is very gray. It was very gray, and it's affected so many people that I know. I mean, seasonal depression is a very real thing. So just wishing you guys all the best, and I hope you're all hanging in there. It's nice to be back. It's nice to be able to express myself like this again. And I was actually wondering what I wanted to talk about. And yes, as I've mentioned, there have been people, friends, even family that I know that have been going through a tough time, a rough go. And it's interesting. I'm going through that as well. And I've previously mentioned in episodes past that I have this tendency, or I really had a heavier tendency back in the day. It's still here, but I'm a lot better at it now because of the things I've learned, because of my own personal journey and my own personal growth. I tend to devalue myself. I blame myself. I put myself down. And part of that is considering the things that I'm going through feel like a burden if I tell somebody else, right? And to some degree, I still feel that way, especially about some of the things some of the burdens that I'm going through. I feel like I don't really need to share with even with my close friends, because I feel like I'm placing a burden on them, right? And I've spoken to friends too who have expressed the same thing. This friend at work that I have, that I've gotten close to in recent months. I mean, she only started working here, I think in November or October, late October. LS. I'm going to refer to her as LS. LS. She and I just had this instant rapport. Like, I'm not saying that I understand her completely. It's only been a short amount of time, but I kind of got it. I got her, and I felt the same way. I felt that she got me and that she understood me, and we connected on that level. And so talking to her is really easy, and it's very healing. And we had one of those conversations again, just recently, because I've been going through it as well. And it was a great conversation, and we talked about how, yeah, sometimes you kind of just want to be alone. And even though you want to share what you're going through, you feel like, what's the point? Because the other person that you're telling or that you're sharing this to, they won't really get it anyway. So what's the point, right? And I do see that point of view. And I would completely understand why you would rather not. But I thought about it really deeply and really closely afterwards. Because I was thinking, like, especially in the world of mental health, it's a very important first step is to open up to somebody and to talk. And it's also one of the most difficult steps. And then, yeah, part of that is, you don't want to feel like a burden. You don't want to feel like you're bothering someone, like, especially for me, I would really used to think that if I told someone, they'd be like, why is this guy telling me this? This information is not pertinent to me. I don't need to know it. This guy's just going through a tough time and it's his problem. I feel bad, but okay, what can I do? And I think that's just a very anxious way to talk about it, because that is, I think, what a lot of us think when we want to open up and share burdens with someone, right? At least that's how I feel, or that's how I used to feel more often, and not so much these days. The intensity of those feelings have really subsided, and I'm glad for that, and I'm proud of myself for that, because that's something I worked really hard on. But that said, you do have to sort of feel somebody out if they're the type of person that you can talk to freely and openly and with little or no judgment. But this is what I really just wanted to share today in this podcast. I didn't intend it to be that long to begin with, but when you're talking with somebody and you're going through it, you're going through a struggle, and chances are that the person you're talking to that you trust will also have some things. And it won't matter if you think your problems are bigger than theirs or smaller than theirs. It doesn't matter if they think their problem is bigger than yours or theirs is smaller than yours. It doesn't matter. There is, how do I put this? There is a reciprocal exchange of energy and emotion when you approach it the right way. When you talk to someone about the things that you're going through, the burdens that you're enduring, you're not placing a burden on someone unnecessarily if you're talking to a specific person, right? I'm trying to be more succinct here. Forgive me if I'm not making sense. This is my first time back in a while, and I have to get my legs under me. But what I'm trying to say is, when you have these burdens that feel heavy, that are weighing you down, you want to talk to somebody, first of all, that person that you're going to want to talk to is, or at least I would imagine, and it would probably be in your best interest and in the best interest of who you're talking to, if this person actually knows you and cares about you and maybe even loves you, right? And has a good understanding of you. And even then, like, even if they don't completely understand you, they might understand you better if you can open up. But my point is, when you talk to people like that, to your friends, to family that care about you, and like I said, that maybe even love you, there's a reciprocal exchange of energy and emotion that you guys have. It's not a one-way street, these things. And you like to think, at least I'm going to speak for myself, I'd like to think that, especially before, when I was a lot worse with this sort of thing, is that when you tell someone your burdens, it's a one-way street. I'm just unloading all this onto you, and then I'm killing your vibe, right? Well, maybe that could definitely happen. You have to also, and this is something you also learn to get better at, you have to sort of talk to the people that you know will be understanding, like I said, that care. And you also have to be self-aware of maybe how you're speaking and how often you express these things to the person that you're talking with. But all those things considered, when you talk to somebody like that cares about you, there is an exchange, a reciprocal exchange of energy. They're not just allowing you to unload their burdens on them just so that, they can carry it. No, they care about you, right? And when you talk to somebody and you share all the issues that you're going through, all the personal issues that you're going through, and then they empathize with you and they show care and concern and offer help where they can, where they are able, without compromising their own well-being, it's a beautiful thing. And sometimes they even open up to you as well, and they also express their personal struggles with you. And when that happens, there's this beautiful exchange of energy and emotion. And all of a sudden, you're not just carrying your own burdens, but you're carrying a piece of the burden of the person you're talking to. And I know to some of you that might sound awful, but really just hear me out. Because vice versa, they're carrying their burdens and now they're carrying a little bit of yours. And when you're carrying your own burdens, but also helping someone carry their burdens, and they're doing the same for you, there's this feeling of togetherness in the struggle, a common chord. You're united. It's almost like you're united in some way, and you truly know that you're not alone because you've shared your struggles. The person you're talking to have shared their struggles, and you're both now carrying your own plus a bit of theirs to help them out. Whatever you can muster. Sometimes you might not even muster much or at all, but the fact that you were there, that you were willing to listen and be understanding and empathizing, and they do the same for you, doesn't matter how small that is, doesn't matter how little that burden from them that you're carrying, it lightens your load noticeably. And of course you would hope that it does the same thing for them, and a lot of times it does. Really, when you're having this genuine exchange, when you both really care for each other and understand each other and are open to each other, it's so beautiful. It honestly makes me so emotional to think about how beautiful humanity can be. As ugly as it can be, humanity can still be so incredibly beautiful. And these types of exchanges, these types of exchanges are what makes it beautiful. Like, I have my burdens that I have to carry, and they're heavy. But I still want to be able to be there for the people that I care about and carry carry a bit, even if it's just like 0.0001%, because I know that that's going to mean infinitely more than what it actually is to you, and vice versa. It's just such a beautiful thing. And it sometimes leaves me so speechless. There is a quote that my sister brought up recently. And it was from one of her friends a long time ago. And I had no aware of this quote, but it's basically what I'm trying to say in a more eloquent and poetic way. Something that goes along the lines of this. And I don't know who quoted this. If I ever find out in the future, I'll mention it in a future episode. And I'll end off on this quote. Happiness shared is doubled. Sadness shared is halved. So, if you feel like you need time for yourself, take it. If you feel like you need to talk to somebody, talk. If that person cares enough, and you'll know, and if you care enough, you can help each other out. You can be there for them, they can be there for you, and you can understand and feel that you're not alone in your struggles, and that these struggles are temporal. They're not permanent, and that it will pass at some point, and that you can hang in there and ride it out and work towards continuing to grow as people and living life. I'm glad to be back, and I'm happy to be talking to you all again. I plan to come back regularly on these podcasts, although I might change from weekly to something like monthly, just so that I have more to talk about and have more time to reflect on the things I may want to talk about. But like I said, I am glad to be back. I hope you're having a great year so far, and I will see you all again soon. Peace and love, everybody. Take care.